Big night for Julian Edelman. He became the Super Bowl MVP, and in 17 postseason games in his career, he's got 115 receptions, second only to Jerry Rice's 151, 1,412 receiving yards. That's also second all-time, and he's tied for 26th with 6 receiving touchdowns. And what happened last night, I saw people begin to say it, and it kind of bubbled up even before last night, the idea that Julian Edelman may be laying the foundation for a Hall of Fame career. Look, Chris, when you look at everything he's accomplished or not accomplished, the numbers aren't there. The accomplishments aren't there. There aren't enough spots available in Canton to give him to Julian Edelman just because he won a Super Bowl MVP award. I mean, Mark Rippon, Larry Brown, right? There have been plenty of guys who have become the Super Bowl MVP that have no business ever Phil Simms, that have no business ever whispering Canton. You said it, not me. But that doesn't, I mean, look, that's one piece, right? But there are so many other pieces that have to go into it before you get into Canton.
Well, I'm so glad to hear you say that, because I thought you were going to be a prisoner of the moment and then start telling me that, you know, again, Julian Edelman for me, all-time legend, NFL legend, certainly. You know, you're going to have to bring up Julian Edelman's name or a few plays that he's made when you tell the story of the NFL, whether it be some of those great catches in the Seahawks or the Falcons game that were just out of this world. But not a Hall of Famer. No, there's nothing in his career that says Hall of Fame. I mean, you know, no Pro Bowls, no All-Pro teams, only 2,000-yard seasons, right? I mean, he's 148th on most catches ever, 248th on most receiving yards all time. Hall of Fame receivers are guys that you can line up in one spot and say, hey, we're going to put you here, and we think you can beat the best corner on the other team all game long consistently, or if not, they're going to double cover you, and it's going to open up everything else. Edelman is awesome, don't get me wrong, but he is a product of that system, and he's a perfect piece for that system in New England. So awesome, legend, but no, not a Hall of Fame for my money.
Hey, and look, another fair point. We talked about this earlier in the program as it relates to his overall legacy, his status in the NFL. How many Hall of Famers have been suspended for PEDs?
I think that's a very valid point. I don't know that off the
top of my head.
Yeah, it hurts me.
But when we're listing the pros and the cons, right? That is one of the things that would go against Julian Edelman ever even getting to the point where he'd be one of the 15 finalists.
No question. And for me, I'm never. I mean, listen, I don't like that. Yeah, it really troubles me. And when anybody has that, you know, notch on their resume that they've been tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. Yeah, it makes me wonder, and I don't mean to go personal on Julian Edelman here, but these are the facts of the situation, and he put himself in this situation for us to have this conversation. You're right. Right, I know. You're right.
When his explanation is, I don't know what happened.
Thank you.
If that's the best you've got.
Yes.
I don't know what happened. Well, I know what happened.
Yeah.
There was a cup.
Right.
You peed in it. They tested it. They found PEDs in your urine.
Right.
That's what happened.
That's right. That's right. Thank you. You're right. I was being a wimp there. Thank you for making me cross the line with some fury. But exactly right. I mean, that bothers me.
But there's nothing wrong.
No.
What's wrong with saying it?
There's nothing wrong with saying it. I know. I guess I feel a little guilty the day after the guy's winning the MVP and he's having a great day, and I'm trying to rain on his parade. So as a human, I feel a little guilty. But you're right. He put himself in that situation and put us in this situation to talk about it. But again, yes, that's a thing that would bother me for the Hall of Fame. He's a legend. He's going to be in the Patriots Hall of Fame and do all those great things, and statistically going to be one of the greatest playoff wide receivers ever. But I don't necessarily sit there and go, oh, you know, all these stats are just because Edelman is amazing and he can beat everybody in coverage and he's just a one-on-one matchup nightmare. No, he's a nightmare because he has a certain skill set that the New England Patriots know how to utilize within their complex system and always put him in a spot where he can be successful. Like we saw last night, how many times was he one-on-one with the middle linebacker in the middle of the field to catch the ball? Middle linebackers shouldn't be having to cover Julian Edelman one-on-one in the middle of the field. But the Patriots found a way to say, oh, well, we have a few ways to get him and match up against your defense. And, of course, as I'm saying that, he's beating Marcus Peters. But regardless, he's in the slot making those plays happen. But here you go. Here's a linebacker trying to cover him. There you go. That was my point if you're watching on TV.
But nobody could cover him last night,
No.
and I'm surprised the Rams didn't consistently double cover him. And look, it's a great game. It's a great performance, but you're right. If it's not him, it's somebody else in that spot. And I don't want to take anything away from what he did. I don't want to rain on his parade like you said, but he rained on his own parade when he sprinkled dirty urine into that cup whenever it was that he triggered the positive test that got him suspended for the first 4 games of this season.
Yes.
This is fresh. This isn't something we're digging up from 5 years ago. It's part of who he is as a player. It's part of what he's done, and it's part of what would be considered. You'd have to consider that as part of the broader case for induction into the Hall of Fame. And I don't know the answer to the question. Are there other Hall of Famers that have tested positive for PEDs?
I mean,
I'd love to know the answer to that question.
I don't think there's a whole lot. I feel like, hey, certainly some probably sneak through the cracks in the 60s, 70s, 80s, or whatever it may be. But I can't remember anybody off the top of my head at this point right now where I go, oh, yeah, PED suspension and Hall of Fame. No, it's certainly going to hurt his resume when that conversation does come up. But regardless, I don't even think without that, I don't think he's a Hall of Fame player. Like I said, awesome football player, legend, but not in the class of, other Hall of Fame receivers and their talents and what they could bring to a team and the mismatch that a Hall of Famer could bring at the wide receiver position.
Credit where credit's due, though. He has been a huge part of this second half of the Patriots dynasty. The 3 Super Bowls they run, 49, 51, 53. He was huge in all those. Remember, in 49, the question was, did he have a concussion and was he properly evaluated? 51, he had that catch where the ball was like on the ground and he somehow kept his hands under it. He's been a big contributor in those games. It's not enough to get you into the Hall of Fame, although some would say it was enough to get Lynn Swann in. Right? Different era, different time. Receivers weren't generating the kind of statistics they are now. And even given what we're doing now, Edelman's not getting the kind of numbers that I think you need to get in.
No, I don't think so either. Hey, he's tough. He's clutch. He run blocks. He catches the ball over the middle. He's got fire. He's a leader. All of those things are great. And he's awesome, and I respect him for that. But I don't see a Hall of Fame, bust in Canton anytime soon.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.